problem that we're trying to solve with Principles of Accounting, the Accounting Streams project? Well, we know that accounting education has been criticised over a huge period of over 50 years for being too technical. And there's lots of literature that says that. It says our graduates aren't ready for the real world, that they often have very black and white thinking, can't adapt sometimes. We have other challenges, lack of passion from potential students who turn up. I'm studying this not because I want to, not because I absolutely love this idea of accounting, because someone said it's a good idea. We had our first exploratory workshop here in 2023, and some of the people who were at that are here again today, the hardcore. And that was really just to explore ideas. This time a year ago, we'd published a few sample chapters and held a workshop with colleagues just to get some feedback on the sample chapters and really start the journey of publication. Over this period of time, we've had over 46,000 interactions with the textbook. So people are using it. We have people who have used it in over 119 countries. We also have gamification, and Michael will be talking about the games he's developed later on. This is just a sample. We've got memory cards for a good number of chapters, so that's sort of self-test on concepts. There's an escape room. And there's also, for good old double entry, transaction match, balance builder, and the journal journey, so that students can build their skills in a fun way.
Michael, you've been presenting today to Accounting Streams on accounting games. What made you think of using games as a way of teaching accounting?
Well, as many presenters have talked about, accounting probably quite boring. I'm just thinking about how to make this education learning journey more creative, more interactive. So I start actually creating some simple games and put it on LinkedIn, attract some attentions. And I'm now seriously thinking about developing more games like escape rooms, memory cards, and drag and drop games.
What's the challenge to you as the creator, and what's the challenge to the student as the user?
I think for the creator, the storytelling is really important. You need to figure out a good storyline and design a game using the code or vibe coding or AI coding to design, to write the code to design the game. And for students, I don't think they have any difficulties using these games. And actually, my colleagues use the game in London campus, and the students find it really interesting, really fun, creative, and my colleagues, they play the game and set a target for the score and ask the student to beat it. And the student really enjoy the game. And it's active learning. It's deep learning.
I get it. I really enjoyed it. I've just done a couple of your games. I thought they were fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you think about these students that are about to come and see you, how would you describe them? How would you describe what they are like? Naive is the first one that came up. Yeah, I definitely have a lot of those. Lazy, assured, misguided, stressed, anxious, worried. There's all those pressures as well. Next question. How would you like to describe them as they leave and start in the profession? Curious, confident, critical, competent. Really interesting. Interesting the types of words that you've gone for, much more about the skills and the attitudes rather than knowledge, which is interesting. With limitless resources, what educational activities could develop them? Emotional intelligence, oh yes, huge passion of mine. Invest in students' businesses and get them to account for that, I like that.
John, I think this is your third Accounting Streams conference, and we've met elsewhere during the last 2 years. How do you think we're going?
Yeah, do you know something? What's really enjoyable is this, to me, is one of the highlights of the year, coming to something like this, a grassroots project started by academics who care, who are now starting to get what I call Rolling Stone movement. It's great to see the ideas, the cross-pollination and sharing of intellectual thought. It can only be good for the profession as a whole, longer term.
I appreciate that. How does this translate to what you're doing in the Irish Institute? Because you're innovators there.
So part of my role is to come and listen. And I've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. And even though I love to talk, I try to do that in that proportion. Today was really great to listen to what other people are doing. There's just some great stuff going on here. We just had a really good session on sustainability, building that into reporting case studies, gamification. There's just some wonderful ideas, even the theory of accounting and trying to make that alive in a way that it hasn't been heretofore. All of this is really good stuff. All of this influences the way that we think about how we develop future syllabus, and that's to the benefit of everyone.
Thank you, John. I have a funny feeling we're going to be meeting at many more conferences.
Let's hope so.
I want to talk to you about something which I call sustainable cost accounting. This is the second international financial reporting standard I've written. It's now the law in 70 countries around the world at least, and it's being used. And I had a meeting with HMRC recently who admit we collect money from it. It's a legal requirement that we're net zero by 2050. The law is in place. COP26 meant we have to do this. It is no choice. Now, of course, politicians can change their mind, I'm aware of that. But at the moment, as it stands, every company in the UK is going to have to be net zero compliant by 2050, because otherwise we're not going to meet our goals. This is accounting as a proactive tool to encourage real-world engagement. And you're not allowed to account on the basis of myths. And one of the great myths is that we'll be able to become net zero because there are technologies that will make it possible. This says if the technology hasn't been proven, you can't include it in your sustainability standard. Going concern is critical inside my thinking on this issue. I'm not interested in 12 months, I'm interested in 2050. That's my going concern horizon. Can you make it to net zero, in other words? That's what I'm worried about. And when you write YouTube videos, you have to finish with a call for action. Not allowed to finish unless you say, this is what you can do. You can demand real accounting, not greenwash. You can demand that we have the disclosure of carbon insolvency and demand that regulators and auditors act. Recognize we cannot manage what we do not measure. That point is so important here. If we don't measure this, we won't get the responses we need and demand we have the cost of net zero disclosed by companies.
Susan, we worked together to co-create accounting streams. We're now at the third accounting streams workshop. How do you think it's going?
I think it's going really well today. We can see where we've come from and where we've got to. And we can also see the excitement and the road ahead. And that's really exciting. It's so good to be with others who share our passion, Richard. It's really invigorating, I think, for those of us who have been leading the project.
It is, I agree with you. There's a sort of a energy in the room about people and from people who want to change the way we teach accounting. It's really good, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's so heartening to see. And I think there's a lot of positive momentum. There's people out there doing some amazing work that they are keen to share and keen to contribute to the accounting streams community that we're building.
Thank you.